Now, one of my biggest inconveniences on this site is that we don't have water over winter. Now, it's quite understandable because we don't want the pipes to freeze, but it does mean as a year-round grower that I'm always moving water around between storage systems. So I'm going to show you how my water's set up, and then I'm going to show you how I finally kind of solved that problem. So I have a lot of undercover space here, which is fine over winter because it hardly needs any watering at all. But once we get to spring, and it's the middle of April now, I have a lot of stuff growing and it needs a lot of watering. And even if I were to take all of these cold frame lids off, which I will be doing in a week or so, it doesn't really make much difference because we're not having any rain. And so, although it would cool things down in all these low tunnels, it wouldn't really make much difference to the amount of watering that I have to do. So as a result, I have a lot of water storage. Although I do know people who've got a lot more than me. I've got these 3 big dip tanks. I've got 2 big IBC tanks, 3 huge water butts. I've got another dip tank here, and I've got dip tanks kind of scattered all around the plot. So dip tank there, dip tank there, dip tank there, dip tank over there. So basically dip tanks everywhere. And yeah, so moving water to all those dip tanks manually takes forever, or it used to. And actually, if you think about it, I got a bit of a problem here because my main water capture is from the gutters that I added onto the polytunnel sides. These are just polytunnel plastic fastened with double-sided tape onto the side of the polytunnel. And I've got one on both sides, but of course they collect into the dip tanks, and the dip tanks are quite low down. So then I've got to get water into these IBC tanks, which are much higher up, and so I have to manually move water between the two because there's only so much you can do with siphons. You can only get the thing about half full with a siphon, and it's the same with those other big tanks, those big water butts. So I used to manually have to dip buckets into these dip tanks and move it over here, and then when I need the water, like now, in order to fill these dip tanks, I'd start off using siphons, but it was really slow. So one of the best things that I was sent to review last year was this little Bosch pump, and it's actually designed specifically for moving water around on allotments and anywhere obviously where you don't have mains power or a mains water supply. And it's pretty nice actually. It's a nice little submersible pump, standard Bosch reusable battery pack, and that just slots into the power supply unit like that. Push this down and then you lock it in place with that handle, and then it's waterproof. And you've just got these simple controls, basically an on-off switch and a timer, so you can set it to just pump for 5, 10 or 15 minutes, and it will run dry as well and switch off. So it's that's pretty good. And what they sent me a couple of days ago is a second pack. So it's a second pump, but with the same power supply unit. So this is the second installation kit. So basically it's just a pump and the cable and a little attachment to hang this little unit on. And this is actually pretty convenient for me because the way I have my water set up is I've got these 2 IBC tanks, and I pump water from these into my storage, my dip tanks, and I do all my watering from the dip tanks because it's so quick and easy just to dip a watering can in here. So these tops just come off, you see, and I found that's the fastest way to water, provided you don't mind walking around. And of course, being IVC tanks, they've got a nice big hole at the top there that you can drop the pump into. But I don't like wasting all this space, and it has the advantage it's really high up. So I'm putting these pallets on top, and I'm growing carrots up here in containers. So there's a few of the containers that you can see. I started those carrots in October, so they're going to be going up high up here, out of the way of the carrot fly. And now I just connect the base of this IBC to the base of that IBC using these connectors, and as a result of that, I can just draw water just from one of the IBC tanks, and it draws water from the other one as well. So, but the trouble is, once I've got the pellets on top and all the carrots on top, it's hard to keep putting the pump in here. So this second installation kit means I can leave the pump in here permanently, and then I can move the power supply unit wherever I need it on the plot. So, you know, to move water around between these tanks and the other tanks that I've got scattered around the plot, and also back home. So I just drilled a little hole in the IBC tank top, disassembled the pipe and the electrical cable, which is really trivial, and now I can put the pallet back on top. So now I have this semi-permanent installation, and I can just clip this on to here, and it's really easy to unclip at the base there. And let's pair it up. Now I can also do a siphon fill. I can just connect the bottom of this tank to the bottom of this tank, and that works as well, but it takes forever to fill the tank, and there's no way it can keep up with my watering. So it needs a lot more planning and things like that. And of course I'm also moving water long distances. So for example, down to that dip tank there, and that one there, and another one over there. So, you know, this is just so much more convenient. So I'll put links to these items on Amazon. So this is the original kit that I got, and you can see with battery it's £109.12. I actually recommend a second battery, and it's expensive, so you only really want to consider this if you're moving a lot of water around, and if water's really important to you. Now for me, because just over winter, you know, I'm harvesting about £2,000 worth of veg, so, you know, a bit of extra money invested in water management is easily worth it. And this is the kit. I'll scroll up to the top. Without the battery and the power supply unit, and that's the one that I got today. So this is the second installation kit basically, so quite a bit cheaper, but not cheap, and out of stock right now. Anyway, if you're interested, as the links are in the description, and I was gifted these, so it was a no-brainer for me. So if you want a little bit more info on the actual pump unit itself and a proper review, then I do have this little video here. Can this little pump solve my big allotment water challenge? Well, yes it can. So yeah, take a look at that video. There's just a little bit more information on the pump itself. So hope you liked that quick video. My name's Steve. This is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.